Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Astro Weekly Forecast for today, Tuesday the 20th, going into Monday the 26th. And hi, Laura. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Beyond Mystic platform on YouTube and also on Jean-Claude Beyond Mystic here on Rumble. And look at that. At the top here, you see download Rumble Wallet, tip creators, buy Bitcoin, and stay in control. This is so Aquarian. When I noticed it, I'm like, we are about to see a whole lot more of that. So this is so baffling. And this week is going to really be something. I'm telling you guys already. And of course, if you want to book in a reading, you can do that at the Beyond Mystic website. And you can use Beyond Mystic to save 10% off. So holy guacamole, guys. This week, it is going to be something to say the least. A very big stallion in the sign of Aquarius. Wow, it is going to be a lot. So maybe before I dive into this weekly astro weather, want to send out a little bit of a trigger warning if you are a very sensitive soul and if you are having difficulties with anger and violence, and if you're very sensitive towards that. I'm about to talk a whole lot about Pluto and also Mars and all of the planets that are about to conjunct Pluto one by one. And Pluto, unfortunately, is the most intense planet that we're dealing with here in astrology. And by the end of the week, I've also included the 27th for this week, even though it belongs normally to next week. But on the 27th, we're seeing a Mars conjunct Pluto, and that is the most volatile aspect that we are having in astrology. So maybe some of you will need to ground yourselves before or after watching the whole week ahead, and definitely during the upcoming week, grounding and unwinding and detaching from all the chaos is going to be very, very important. So, yeah, Aquarius season is here. As of today, the sun ingress into the sign of Aquarius, and it's not going to be a soft transition. This one and this whole Aquarius season, it is going to blow our socks off. Aquarius, it doesn't move in straight lines like Capricorn. It moves through frequency and vibration and consciousness, and it's about our invisible networks. The grid is getting massively triggered and lit up here. It's also about the future and about all these new fields and timelines and probabilities really entering our life. So we are directly engaging with the future now. Of course, Aquarius, it disrupts, it collapses, and then it renews, but it does that based on our awareness. So yeah, we are about to see a very big collapse of old systems, all the things that are outdated are going to be replaced by new ones that are going to emerge. But it happens whenever our consciousness is evolved enough to sustain them. So, yeah, this Aquarius season, we're really being dropped into it at like warp speed. Look at the current solar storms. We just had like a 1.9x flare. Solar storm is approaching Earth very, very fast. And Aquarius, of course, deals with what happens in our skies, and it deals with frequencies and vibrations. So, yeah, very severe geomagnetic storms right now. Level G4 is very, very intense. We also saw the aurora borealis here, the northern lights, and maybe it's also worth checking into if they are actually messing with our frequencies right now, because there are definitely certain types of machines that can mess with all of our frequencies, and that is also going to be a massive theme of this Aquarius season. So normally Aquarius, it's very light and detached, and it behaves in a futuristic kind of fun way. But this one is really coming in very intense. It is compressed with all of the energy combined, and with Pluto there, it can get quite volatile. So multiple planets piling up around the same degrees, that creates a whole lot of pressure. when the energy really stacks like this, things they don't unfold gradually, they snap into place. And of course, Aquarius, it rules over technology and also politics and society and about the future, about new ideas coming in. But whenever we see Mars and Pluto getting involved in here as well, in this whole Aquarian party, it's not just about these new ideas anymore. We're also talking about a lot of action and confrontation, and by that, irreversible change that is about to come forward. So we're going to see in the upcoming days that the conflicts are going to escalate faster, and truths are going to surface massively, whether people are ready or not. We're really getting pushed out of our comfort zone right now. So it is definitely not a season of comfort. It is a very big season of truth. So yeah, people are gonna be reacting more extreme, more opinionated, more restless. Power struggles are really gonna bubble to the surface. That can be within your relationship because Venus is still on top of Pluto now. I think a lot of toxic attachments are getting cleansed and purged right now as well. But it can also, of course, show up in your career or within big groups of people, maybe that you work together with. That can also, yeah, be very, very visible. That, and I know a lot of you guys who are watching, I know you're already kind of like the rebel. And I actually like Aquarius pretty much because this is really like the tinfoil hats and like the conspiracy theorists and people who think outside of the box, who are feeling like they're ahead of their time. And by that, upgrading like the consciousness within big groups of people or within society. That is Aquarius. So, but now yeah, it's gonna get a little bit uncomfortable for sure, but we're as we are all conspiracy theorists, we are gonna have a very busy week, very busy Aquarius season the next couple of weeks. And also with Pluto involved, it is really like looking at things with a magnifying glass, being very investigative, really being able to read between the lines. So yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting week for sure. And yes, like this. So stay grounded while everything accelerates, because when everything moves fast, we need to slow down. And that is one of the biggest tips that I can give you guys. And Aquarius, the shadow themes of that can be emotional detachment turning a little bit into coldness. We're going to see a lot of extremism within beliefs, and also rebellion just for the sake of rebellion. And the ethical side of technology is going to be massively communicated about as well. So um, the higher expression of Aquarius, it is about visionary leadership and really systems that serve humanity. It is about technology that can become aligned with consciousness. We need to use it in a conscious way, and that will come up massively. And it's also about progress that includes everyone. So, if we look at the first chart for this week, we can see Mercury, the planet of communication. It is the messenger of the gods. It is here in the sign of Aquarius as of today. And of course, also with that comes the sun as we are kicking off Aquarius season. And the sun is really the giver of life. And when the sun goes through this sign, it really not only illuminates and warms, but it actually electrifies with like the beams of the sun. That's why we are seeing such a such a severe magnetic storms right now. And Astrid, it actually looks like my name a little bit. We are conspiracy knowers. Yes, that is like well said. And Mercury here is really the one that rules over our brain and how we communicate. And when it's an Aquarius, that is like, yeah, all of the conspiracy things are actually found within Aquarius as well, because yeah, it's very fast moving, it's very progressive. It's really being able also to read the patterns and really read the symbolism. It's so yeah, astrology and tarot and all of the other cool things on how we interpret the current timeline, they are also all founded in Aquarius, and Mercury is going to enhance that. And our collective minds and mindset is now all going to be triggered by all the Aquarian threads. So that is very, very beautiful. Very cool energy. But first, it needs to pass over Pluto, and that is because the sun is now also illuminating the entire grid of consciousness, and it's really turning it on. And it's also going to expose like the invisible systems together with Pluto, and it's also going to really reveal where power and the real power actually flows. All the things that cannot survive the light of the sun and the darkness of Pluto will fall away this season. And there's a very big noticeable change in how we think, speak, and how we process information here with the sun conjunct Mercury as well. Because Mercury in Capricorn was very serious and structured and focused on the outcome or on ambition. But now it's really like Aquarius is going to open up the mental field. And the energy is moving from Capricorn to what's realistic, to Aquarius, now to what is possible beyond our knowledge and what needs change in the sign of Aquarius. So very future oriented, very innovative, unconventional, thinking, talking, it all becomes faster and also more experimental and sometimes a little bit eccentric as well with the sign of Aquarius. So new ideas and alternative perspective is actually very important right now. So yeah, we can have a lot of breakthroughs within our conscious mind, and really a very big desire to question all of the assumptions and question the narratives. And you're going to see it happening within big groups of people within society. Yeah, people who are normally not so aware, they might become asking like questions, and you're going to be very happy to share your knowledge on that. So yeah, a lot of discussions, of course, about society, politics, technology, science, and of course, unfortunately, also humanitarian issues and also environmental issues. These will become very widely talked about. And we are about to see very big news from the very big tech giants. So really watch them closely here in the next couple of days. We will see more radical ideas circulating, and a very strong push to think differently. And I really, really like that. So yeah, Mercury now, it opens up our mind to the future, and it's really about thinking beyond the limitations that we found that are found in Capricorn. So yeah, we need to think different, but do not become too detached. Aquarius is really emotionally detachment as well. We also see Mars in Capricorn at the final degrees, where we just had the new moon, is trining Uranus, and Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. So this is a highly productive aspect. It actually blends discipline with innovation and a lot of breakthroughs. Mars is still in Capricorn. It is still focused on determination and strategic action. But Uranus and Taurus, also at the end degrees, it is about change and innovation and practical breakthroughs. It's also talking directly to our financial system, and we are about to see some very, very big changes in that. Or like now is a very big seeding moment. All of these planets are actually combined with one another. So this is a very big seeding moment, and whatever gets installed now, it will be able to build upon that later. But the real blooming or blossoming from this seed planting moment, we are going to see that next year. But this is really about smart and efficient change here with Mars trine Uranus. And also on a personal level, taking bold steps that actually last and prove to be very liberating over the long term. So do not be afraid to try something new. It can be very beneficial over time. On the 21st of January, we can see the Mercury Cazimi. So Yeah, very big turning point and how we understand what's next in the sign of Aquarius. But we can see another superior conjunction of Mercury and the Sun. So Mercury will pass behind the Sun just as Mars did, just as Venus did in the last couple of weeks or days. So now the last one to make the Kazimi with the Sun is now Mercury. So a lot of clarity, a lot of focus, awareness about truth, change, and the future. And our thoughts come into sharp focus. But with Pluto there, it is very intense. So be careful for obsessive thought patterns that like keep reoccurring. We might need to break something in that if we feel stuck. And Pluto asks us to transform something within our thought pattern. So, yeah, when the sun, our awareness and the bringer of light, aligns with Mercury, how we speak, ideas from like they move from the background of our head into our full consciousness. Something can become clear, something can be ready to be expressed. So, this mostly brings a lot of sudden realization, clear decisions, also a very big urge to say something that you've been thinking for a while and now it's going to come out, but be careful how you word things because with Pluto it can become destructive. So very big mental reset point and really great energy for breaking mental habits and opening up new space for these new sudden perspectives that are about to come through. So because it's part of this larger Aquarius stellium, it is part of a much bigger reset here. Everything that's been spoken or decided right now, it's gonna set the tone for the weeks ahead. Very intense news coming out, truth and politics from the tech billionaires in regards to AI, robotics. There can be earthquake headliners in the news because Mercury rules over the news and it's also the spoken word, but Mercury here deposits back to the south node because the south node here is actually in Virgo. So Mercury talks directly to this. And the south node is what needs to be released or things that are about to get released. And unfortunately, Virgo, it not only rules over our health, but it also rules over the service industry and like the working class, people who are on a day-to-day basis of service towards other people. And we're gonna have news with Mercury conjunct Pluto that a lot of people are about to lose their jobs because of their AI. It is just something that is very, very strongly indicated here in the chart. So yeah, it brings like clarity about the future and where we are headed with all of the control through technology and really AI replacing a lot of our jobs. That is why we are being pushed right now also out of our comfort zone to really hone in on our skills and our talents and to reclaim our sovereignty and to really be able to develop our natural talents. If it's the case that your job gets replaced by AI, you might need to hone in on your own talents to create this kind of new job for yourself. And it might even prove to be liberating over time, even though I am not a big fan, of course, of all this technology replacing so many jobs in the next couple of years, of course. So I'm trying to look at that as a bit of a positive mindset, but I know it is not. I know it is not easy to deal with that. So on the 22nd of January, that is when the Pluto Mercury conjunction is gonna be in full play. So very intense. Our thinking gets very penetrating, very transformative, and it can also feel like we have this X-ray vision that is going to be like switched on very strongly. It's about depth, it's about truth, it's everything that goes below the surface, and conversations become very, very serious and very revealing and impossible to ignore. If you are one that is just like me searching for the truth, And this can be a very empowering aspect for you on a world level, on a world stage. Not so great, as we're going to see very, very intense news coming forward. But it can also, we need to be a little bit mindful about like obsessive or all consuming thoughts. Definitely with the sun here. And like Mercury passes over Pluto every year. But with the sun now, that doesn't happen quite often, that all of these planets are combined together. That's why I think more of the, I'm sure more of the negative aspects are going to come forward here. And the sun doesn't like to be in Aquarius, to be honest. The sun is about our individual selves. When it's in Aquarius, it is focused on like the identity of the group. And the sun also resembles leadership. And when it's in Aquarius, it gets weakened a little bit because it's in its detriment position. And the fact that the sun will be conjunct Pluto, it weakens it even more because Pluto is a malefic. So yeah, we're gonna see a lot of world leaders losing their head a bit, and they can become very ruthless, very vengeful. Covert tactics with all of these planets together, it is not easy energy to deal with, and we're definitely gonna see a passing of a very famous figure, either on the world stage, within politics, within like running a country, or within the tech giants. All of that is very imminent here with all these gazimis and all the energy on Pluto. So yeah, we're gonna see some very intense news. But on the positive side, this can also bring a lot of sudden realizations to really change your perspective on something, and also a very big need to get to the bottom of something. If you're looking for the truth, you're probably going to find it, but I don't really know if you're going to be very happy or feel pleasant with the truth that you're about to discover. So with Venus on Pluto here today on the 20th, I think a lot of people will be looking in their partner's phone or on their socials, and they might also discover something that they don't really like. And with all this intensity on Pluto, if you're in a toxic relationship, whether that's in regards to work or your partner, that might totally break, you might break free from it with the sign of Aquarius, but it can be rather tense, honestly. Yeah, so Mercury Pluto conversations can also feel very, very fated, and what's gonna be spoken, it's gonna be irreversible. That's why we need to be careful how we really deliver our message during this time. We're gonna discover a lot of truths within power structures, within the hidden agendas in regards to technology. Um, Technological warfare whenever Mars jumps into Aquarius as well. So yeah, a very big push to think radically different, but it's gonna blow people's socks off. I'm sure of it. There's way too much Aquarian energy and way too much energy on top of Pluto. So yeah, do not shock for like the sake of it. Whatever truth you're about to bump into is going to demand a lot of change. But in the end, it can be very liberating. So be careful with your words. They can become sharp, very unfiltered, and potentially a bit confronting here. But very powerful to do research, to have conversations with your therapist, to really, yeah, dive into your own mental patterns and your dark side and getting in tune with your shadow side and really having big breakthroughs within like your mental patterns, and by that setting yourself free, and as a sign of Aquarius. So um if this like, look at your own chart, look where Aquarius falls in your chart, because this house gets massively lit up for the next couple of weeks. I would say the most voltage is going to be from now until the 10th of February. But if we look at the chart here, we can see that the intensity now really is very, very high with the conjunctions to Pluto. And that is going to be another kick here at the end. When all the planets leave Aquarius, they're all one by one will square Uranus here in the chart. So intensity in the beginning of Aquarius season, but also as all the planets are going to leave Aquarius one by one and will meet up in a square with Uranus, the ruler. So yeah, very interesting Aquarius season here. Um, yeah, we're going to see so many things and we will not be able to pretend otherwise. Pluto, it like stripes away all of the illusions, and with Neptune that is about to shift into Aries, the blindfolds are coming off, and it can be like a big shock and a big surprise about what we are about to discover here. And Trish, hi Trish. Trish says, I have seen quite a few romantic partnerships forming between old friends, including my best friend and me, or former flames. Well, that is so beautiful because, yes, in Aquarius, our lovers can become friends and our friends can become lovers. And we're seeing a very big emphasis on relationships becoming more free and more liberating. We are going towards like the age of Aquarius, and we tend to claim a lot of our partners. We tend to try to keep them at home for ourselves, and that is like more the Pluto mindset here, and that is what needs to change. We cannot claim our partners. We need to actually set them free, and we need to keep our individuality, the sun, in our groups of people or within partnerships, Aquarius. And there is a very big emphasis on that right now. So that is actually very beautiful to read, Trish. Thank you. So, yeah, the next day, let's switch on to the 23rd. Yeah, the 23rd. Mark this one in your calendar, and also the 27th, because not only Mars enters Aquarius, but the Sun will overtake Pluto here. So, yeah, intensity to the max. Mars in Cap is normally very, yeah, disciplined and hierarchical. How do you say it in English? Top-down structures. Now Mars in Aquarius, it is about future visions and taking action on that. It is less about our personal achievement, because that's the sign of Capricorn. Now it's about reform and breaking patterns and taking action on what benefits the collective. So a very decisive shift in how we go after what we want. Freedom, truth, innovation, collective progress. So, yeah, our action becomes more unconventional, also mentally driven by our thoughts here with Mercury as well. So, a very strong urge to do things differently. And there's gonna be, and I'm gonna like say it like this because there's gonna be way less patience for all the rules that don't make sense, and we can already see that happening on the world stage in a very very big way. So that is about to get massively enhanced here whenever Mars shifts into Aquarius as well and joins this whole other party stellium in the sign of Aquarius. So very big need for autonomy and independence. And what are we seeing what is about to happen here in, in Alberta? So many people are lining up for it to become independent, and there is a very strong possibility that that is gonna become true. And there's a very big astrological potential for that here. So yeah, this is about to spread very very widely. And yeah, Aquarius, of course, it is very difficult to predict because it is quickly and fast moving, and these new timelines that are intersecting with one another, and the future, it is not set. It is very unpredictable. With Aquarius, we don't know because this is about sudden new insights that are like upgrading our consciousness. So, yeah, momentum here really increases. It wants a lot of movement, and all of the new radical ideas that are sparked by Mercury, now they're going to be turned into action with Mars joining this. So, standing up for our values and our causes, a lot of new innovating systems, big new collaborations with like-minded people, new grassroots movements that are about to appear. But be mindful here with Mars, do not burn any bridges unnecessarily. Do not use shock therapy just for the sake of it. So, yeah. Then the Sun on Pluto, oh my God, very powerful point of exposure. On the personal level, it can be about taking your power back. Look at where you have given your power away, maybe to certain groups of people, because on the world stage, this is going to be a very big shit show. I'm already just going to say it as it is. But on a personal level, it is really like, where have I given like too much power away to the group thinking and the hive mind? Like Aquarius is the hive mind, and it gets like shaken up and woken up immensely here during this time. But also, where have I maybe been, yeah, how do you say it? My Where is my individuality depending on groups of people, and maybe taking that back, and you are perfect the way you are. You do not need groups of people to shine. You can do that perfectly on your own, but it's about how do we bring our own authenticity within groups of people, and by that we are actually helping society. So that is the big focus here. So yeah, Sun Pluto. Oh, this is not subtle energy. This is the truth, Aquarius, coming into full light. Pluto is gonna take it from the underworld, and it's gonna show it and display it on the world stage very immensely. So, yeah, there can be such a strong identification with certain groups, and also wanting to express our own unique way, but that's getting a little bit eccentric here, and a little bit like too much with Pluto, Sun, and Mars, because this, yeah, this conjunction of five planets, it's not only about the willpower of groups, it's also the willpower of the world leaders and the willpower of society, and how we as a society, or as we the people, are going to react towards like the hidden agenda of our world leaders. And I'm not like specifically honing in on one specific world leader. I'm like just like generalizing it, but definitely this is like revolution time, very very strongly. The last time we had something like this, that was in 1791, and then we had something very big happening in France. It's called Daggers Day, and the aristocrats had to really protect the monarchy, because all of the working people, the working class, and the peasants, and the farmers, and we the people were really like rising up. So we're seeing such a thing really happening in Iran at the moment as well. Yeah, this is gonna spread like wildfire in the next couple of weeks. So also, I would not advise you to go to protests, to mix into big groups of people right now. Definitely not before the end of January. I know you want to let your voice being heard, and I know you want to stand up for yourself and for the good of humanity, and I admire that. But with the Sun, Pluto, Mars together, we're going to see a lot of violence within big groups of people and within protests happening. And we've already been through that in 2020, when certain people were stirring a lot of chaos amongst peaceful protests. We're going to see similar themes coming up very, very strongly here. So, Mars, Pluto, Sun, very compulsive, very obsessive, and can turn violent very, very fast. And this is such a rebellious energy, and it can become so destructive. People really demand their power back. But Aquarius, again, it is about humanitarianism, and we're gonna see big groups of people being in need of that. So, yeah, one particular world leader is going to lose its power, can end up even in a severe accident on the road, because all of this happens at 3 degrees, and the third degree of Aquarius, it rules over, it has a Gemini connotation, so the news, but also biking, driving, public transport. And what did we just see happening in Cordoba in Spain? We had two trains, and one of them derailing, and they crashed on top of each other, and it was such a big mess, and so many people lost their lives. And when I saw it happening, I was like, oh man, this is already so destructive and so intense, and so, yeah, I don't even have the right words to describe it. So many people lost their lives, and I was like, oh my god, this is happening already before Mars enters Aquarius. Like, that doesn't promise a lot of good news for the upcoming days. So that's why Sun is also world leaders. A world leader can also lose its life whenever he's in an airplane or helicopter or flying through the air, because Aquarius rules over our air. We're going to see things flying also through the air with Mars here in the sign of Aquarius. That can be hypersonic missiles, that can be other type of bombs that are going to go off, because it is not only going to be truth bombs. With Mars and Aquarius, there will be actual bombs and an uptick in conflicts around the world, unfortunately. And also, yeah, technology that is being used in a very harmful way. Like, remember when they used like the covert tactics by blowing up the pagers in the Middle East last year? That was also with the Mars Pluto connection. So we might see something similar coming up as well. Aquarius is a sign of shocks and a lot of feathers being ruffled. And with Mercury in the mix here, the social media, the mainstream media, it's all going to go insane. Don't go doom scrolling, really detach from it. I'm not going to read the news in the next couple of days. You guys are going to need to give me a little heads up, because it's going to be overwhelming with all my Pisces energy. I feel it way too strong, and that just like disturbs a lot of the flow in my life. And I think that is the best advice that I can give you guys. Detach a little bit from the media, and even honestly the mainstream media, because a lot of the mainstream media, it is hijacked, it is becoming very obvious, and it's going to become even more obvious whenever Uranus is about to ingress fully into the sign of Gemini. Gemini rules the news. Uranus is alternative news sources, shocks and surprises in regards to that as well. And I think we will start to see more legit mainstream media coming, alternative media coming up as well. But first, we're going to need to go through some kind of shocks and surprises about the current alternative media and how there are a lot of controlled oppositions in that right now. That can also be highlighted here already, but it's going to become stronger by the end of April, beginning of May. So for the States, this Aquarius stellium, it happens in the second house, and the second house deals with money, income. It's opposite the eighth house of taxes, finances. It is conjunct the south node, things in regards to money from the past that are going to get back up again. A lot of investigation, Pluto, in the IRS, in regards to the Fed, CIA agencies. Aquarius is about intelligence. Pluto is power, and the sun is going to illuminate all of that. And yeah, Mercury is also about files and documents, and Pluto is about hidden things, hidden files, important files in regards to very prominent figures in society are going to become released in some kind of way. News about military operations when Mars joins that, new things being leaked by in regards to frequency warfare. We can see certain whistleblowers exposing very big news as well. And there's going to be a lot of disruptive conversations happening. People are going to be revolting to like what the tech giants are about to announce to us. And Venus is here as well, but you won't be able to calm this down. We can even see very intense news in regards to women as well. Abuse of women, sex trafficking, gender roles, social roles, relationships in general that demand more freedom, and darkness that is getting exposed in that as well. Yeah. 3 degrees, it also rules over siblings and neighbors. So it can also become a little bit more intense in regards to that. So be mindful whenever that happens. So yeah, very big moment of personal and collective reckoning here. Big realization about where power really lies, but definitely on a positive note, a very big surge of inner strength and willpower. And if you use it healthy and in a conscious way, it can be very, very liberating and can cause major, major breakthroughs in your life. So yeah, what a week. Exactly. It is insane. Yeah, and Stain is posting an airplane, like Stain is an Aquarius as well. If you're an Aquarius, try to really calm down the nervous system. Breath work is a very good tool to do that. And then for Canada, this whole Aquarian stellium is going to play out in the 11th house of politics. So it's going to oppose Mercury directly, and Mercury resembles cities. So a lot of truth is being exposed in society, in politics, society reacting to that. A lot of mass formation on the street in a lot of different cities. Mercury. That is what I can read in the chart for that as well. So yeah, that's why I said like the whole thing that is going on in Alberta is really gonna spread across Canada even more fully. So yeah, systems, institutions, groups, community, and the power dynamics with them being massively exposed. And everything that's outdated, corrupt, or unsustainable is going to fall away. So, yeah, our power must be reclaimed. And Pluto in Aquarius, it is about turning the power back to the people. And of course, what enhances this even more is that we are about to see a solar eclipse in the sign of Aquarius on February the 17th. And it's gonna, yeah, eclipse all of the energy I've been talking about even more. So, eclipses, they are fate accelerators. So, even with our new moon, that full moon that we are about to see in the sign of Leo, that is coming up on February the 1st, we are already gonna get a sense of how this new eclipse cycle that is about to kick off is going to play out in our future. The full moon in Leo is not going to be an eclipse, but it's going to be the last one in Leo before the eclipse cycle shifts over into Aquarius and Leo. And on July the 26th, the North Node will come into Aquarius and the South Node will shift into the sign of Leo. So very big emphasis on the whole Aquarian stellium and on all the seeds that are getting planted right now. This is going to be massively illuminated even more. And I'm already preparing an eclipse workshop to really dissect and interpret everything that is about to happen in regards to the Aquarius and Leo eclipses. So, yeah, where were we? So, watch for power struggles, ego clashes, attempts to control the outcome, and fear driven reactions. We need to like really detach from that. Stand in your truth, but not in your dominance. And this is really a point of no return. So make sure you use it in a very, very healthy way. So, something else I've got to share with you. We have, of course, the Tarot and Numerology Master Workshop Level 1 and 2 is now 50% off. So that is with the beautiful Ashala and Janine. You can use Tarot Numerology 50 to get 50% off. So this is valuable, or it is able to do that until the 25th of January. So make sure you check that out. This is a master workshop bundle level 1 and 2. So very, very cool. All right, the next day. Oh, and it just doesn't stop this week, guys. It is insane. We're seeing on January the 24th a moon in Mars, and it will be conjunct Chiron at 22 degrees. And 22 degrees, it is a critical degree. So yeah, this is really about psychological survival and our identity wounds that are getting triggered, and also a very big uptick in having the need or like the instinct to protect oneself. Moon, it is about our emotions, and Chiron, it exposes all the wounds that haven't fully healed yet. In the sign of Aries, I am identity, autonomy, anger, and the right to exist as we are. In combination with the Aquarian stellium, a lot of emotional reactivity or defensiveness, a surge of like, yeah, anger or frustration, and extra sensitivity around being dismissed or overpowered or getting ignored. Again, this is triggering the powerful urge to stand up for yourself. And yeah, it is about survival instincts. So be careful if like these old flight or fight patterns resurface, people are going to react very strongly before they're going to think. Aries speaks first, thinks later. I know all about that as an Aries. And the boundaries are getting tested, definitely with Saturn and Neptune at the end degrees. These two at the end degrees of Pisces, they are losing their mind a little bit and they are about to fully ingress into the sign of Aries, and Aries rules over the head. So do not get lost inside of your head. Really acknowledge the wound without becoming it. Choose between self protection without self destruction. That is going to be important that day. So, yeah, a lot of emotional confrontations, even with yourself. So, this is about empowerment through awareness of our own wounds. Really pause before reacting, move your body, go to the gym, sweat it off. That is going to help you immensely. And also, yeah, protect your inner child. Aries is like the baby of the zodiac. And we can really like respond to our triggers from our inner child during this day. So yeah, just know that you don't need to fight to have the right to exist. Just tell yourself that your presence is already very, very valid. So on January the 25th, we then see the moon square Mars, and the moon is going to start to square the whole Aquarius stellium. And thank you guys for the sweet comments here in the chat. I'm sometimes sometimes when I'm in the astrology, I tend to forget to look at them because I'm so fully immersed in it, but I'm trying to keep my eye a little bit more on the chat. And I want to thank you, Pashab, for this beautiful, beautiful comment. And Millie, of course, as well. And Marilene from Belgium is here as well. Thank you guys all so much for joining here. So this day, January the 25th, the moon in Taurus forming a square to the whole Aquarius stellium, creating so much emotional friction between stability and change. Taurus wants stability, it wants comfort, it wants to be in the comfort zone, but that's already been very messy with Uranus transiting through that sign, squaring off to the whole Aquarius system that is indicating a lot of disruption. It's just clashing very heavily right now. So, yeah, safety, comfort, emotional, and material security is Taurus. But the Aquarius stellium, it wants truth, change, detachment, and future-oriented decisions. So maybe you want things to be calm and calm down and feel familiar, but you also know that it's not going to be possible and it cannot stay the same during this time. So yeah, you're going to see people feel very emotionally stubborn, especially those who are very attached to the past, to their comfort, to not wanting to seek the truth out there in the world. People who are like having these things on, they're gonna have a very difficult time during this whole Aquarius season, actually. So do not become irritated by like the pressure of you needing to adapt and the other people wanting to stay the same. Like the old world, it is over. Those who are still clinging to it right now, that is not working anymore. So just try to give compassion with Neptune at 29 degrees, but there's not going to be a lot of compassion because Saturn, it refrains and it restricts compassion. Another thing we need to be a bit careful for, now that it jumps into my mind, whenever we are about to see a very, very big Neptune Saturn conjunction on 0 degrees of Aries, that is the world point axis. So, very important point in our zodiac wheel. It is pure potential, the pure manifestation of a sign, the pure essence is about to get triggered here. But Aries, it is about our individuality, about who we are. I am, and I want. I want is more Taurus, but I am is Aries. And whenever we look at the historical cycles between Saturn and Neptune, and whenever these two come together, there is a heightened emphasis on communism. Why is that? Because Neptune rules over all as one and it wants to connect everyone into one single whole being. and Saturn structures that and brings it into reality. That is why this one is so massively connected to Stalin died during a conjunction. Putin was born during a conjunction. The Berlin Wall came up and fell down under a Saturn Neptune conjunction. Yeah, back then it was in the sign of Capricorn, so cold countries. Now it's in the sign of Aries, the sign that rules over war. So I think we are in a very spiritual war to really be able to keep our independence and our individuality. And a lot of world leaders are about to start off this holy war that is based on their idealism about this one world. Can I say it here on YouTube? I need to be careful not to trigger the algorithm too much. But like this whole big reset, we're gonna see more of that, but maybe I need to. I'm definitely gonna do a whole other video about the Saturn Neptune conjunction here. Definitely something to be careful for, and something that we are gonna need to like. There's gonna be a lot of fighting back and forth between that topic here. So yeah, ground the body, avoid making permanent decisions that are actually based on temporary discomfort. That is going to be the one of the best takeaways for this week. Avoid making permanent decisions on temporary discomfort. And also, yeah, we need to find like one small anchor while all of these bigger changes unfold. My therapist, she always told me like, even if it gets very, very dark and it gets difficult, there are always positive things happening. You have food, you have shelter, you have a roof above your head, you have friends you can rely on, you have people to talk to. We have each other here in the beautiful Beyond Mystic community. So even though if things get a little bit disruptive and a little bit dark, because Sun, Pluto, Mars together, Pluto and Mars, it is about the dark arts people. And I think we're going to see a very big, massive ritual, big, massive sacrifice ritual. Neptune at the end degrees of Pisces is about sacrifices and all of this dark energy getting combined here in the sign of Aquarius, big groups of people. So do not freak out whenever that happens. It is massively indicated here in the chart. So soothe your nervous system without like resisting the necessary changes that are about to come through. Because on the 26th, we are having Neptune ingressing into Aries fully for the next 14 years. So yeah, Aries, it is not a subtle sign. All the events now, they're going to spill into the collective awareness. Neptune rules over our collective consciousness, and that's in regards to global politics and history and all of that. And yeah, this is a very big geopolitical and a very big turning point within civilization, actually. Neptune, it has spent years and years of dissolving its boundaries and like blurring realities, hiding a lot of truth, casting a lot of illusions. The positive part is also that it heightened the sensitivity and psychic awareness, and like spirituality became very mainstream and cool. And I love Neptune and Pisces for that, for sure. But now, as it turns into Aries, all of the mist and the fog of Neptune, it's gonna turn into a big spark. Aries, it is the match that sets the house on fire. I don't know all about it. Aries is about action. And with Neptune, it is about taking action on our dreams. The positive thing about this is that we're gonna see a lot new inspired leadership coming up. A lot of new world leaders, also with Saturn, spiritual warriors, inspired leadership, strong new men. Every aspect has its shadow side and its positive side. So some world leaders are going to completely lose their mind and are going to try fascism and communism. Other new, younger world leaders are going to come on the stage and they're really going to adapt a way more spiritual vision in regards to leadership. But unfortunately, Neptune, In Aries, it is correlated to very, very bloody wars, and it's gonna, yeah, spark the collective impulse to really be one's unique self and forge a new path. But with Saturn about ingress into Aries as well, there can be some limitations, and us not being able to do that and having to work through the karmic limitations until that becomes bearable, if that makes sense. The last time this happened was actually 1865. During that time, we also saw the abolition of slavery. So there are definitely positive things to this as well, but we're definitely going to see echoes from the Civil War from back then. And important time frame to maybe rewind a little bit to just give you an example about how strong the presence is. Last year we already had a sneak peek of Neptune entering into Aries, and it fully ingressed on March the 30th. And on the 2nd of April, President Trump announced a lot about the tariffs, and that created a lot of reaction and responses from other countries. So definitely something in regards to that is going to come up again. But also on March the 15th, just before Neptune made its ingress, we also saw very big discoveries about the pyramids. Neptune, it is also about like spirituality and like the unseen realms intervening here on a worldly level at the 0 point of Aries. So there are definitely also very positive things about this. It's not all doom and gloom. We're going to shift from the muddy waters to a whole new fire and air era. And it's going to be a very welcoming change for a lot of people. Definitely the case. So it's a cardinal sign, Aries. It's about initiation, a very big initiation through fire, and it's really where about all the private processes become more public in a very big public event here with Neptune on the 0 point of Aries. For example, when we had Uranus at the 0 degrees of Aries, that was in 2011. And then we had a very massive earthquake, and I think it was a very big earthquake in Japan, and there was a lot of upheaval. Now, we're not talking about this right now because we have another planet here, but it is some kind of a world event that affects the entire Earth. And everyone is aware, everyone knows it is big news and a very big shift. But now it can be in regards to Neptunian threats, and that can also indicate water, something that is definitely possible here. But let's keep it positive because it is about taking action on our ideology. Yeah, confusion, Neptune, and idealism, and all of the spiritual narratives really entering the sign of leadership and warfare, and also, yeah, politics as well with the whole stellium in Aquarius. So really, it is about like acting on our beliefs, whether people are conscious or not. So that is like the knife that cuts at in two sides. Like how do you say it in English? It's like a saying from my country, but it's also pointing towards like very sharp geopolitical rhetoric. But of course, you do not have to be an astrologer to know that. So we're also going to see a lot of new wars that are going to get framed as like a very big ideology. People who are going to really fight for what they believe is right and not necessarily what is true. So, but it's definitely going to inspire us with a lot of spiritual courage. There's going to be new heroic movements, and radical new identities are becoming more softened here with Neptune as well. So it all has its pros and cons, of course. But of course, March the 30th last year, that was like a sneak peek. But here on the 26th of January, that is the real like crossing of the threshold. Now the world really begins to live inside of this energy, and it's not just about previewing it anymore. It's really about embodying it. It's about embodying our dreams, taking action on our dreams. Saturn, when it comes in, it can put a lot of structure within our dreams. So if you're hardworking and if you believe in your vision, you can make your dreams come true. So on a personal level, can be positive. So yeah, very big. This really marks a very big start of like belief-driven action on a global scale and within our world leaders. And what once started as like a vision or an idea, it now becomes like movement, and we're taking action on that. And we are going to be very, very willing to fight for what we believe in. Discernment is going to be, of course, essential. And normally we end the week here, but I'm very, very, I'm gonna quickly touch upon Mars Pluto because it is too important to skip that. It's gonna happen when I'm gonna do my next weekly Astro forecast, but this is the cherry on top of the cake of all of the other Aquarian energy. Mark this day. Avoid big crowds if you can. Do not go protest. Do not stir any conflict. It is the most disturbing and volatile combination in astrology, Mars conjunct Pluto. If you're in an abusive relationship, be careful, get help, get out, break free from it. Mars, it is war, force, confrontation. It is a raw survival instinct here that is getting triggered by Pluto. Death, rebirth, transformation, extremity. Pluto is all or nothing. It can give a crisis through rebirth, and it also is going to bring irreversible transformation. So when they come together, pressure, it explodes. It is not subtle. It is actually very extreme. It is very uncompromising. I do not want to overreact here or make you guys feel scared or uncomfortable, but you're gonna feel uncomfortable anyway with this aspect. So you better be forewarned, because forewarned is like forearmed, and I want to empower you with this. But definitely a lot of power games about underground resources, because that is what they need, the big tech giants, for the advancement of their technology. Pluto is everything that is beneath the surface. Also watch Sam Altman, Larry Ellison, Peter Thiel, the whole tech club. It's gonna pretty much baffle us. Maybe Nvidia or Apple or other big tech brands can also be launching something new during this week, but be careful for the hidden agenda. We know they want to like seduce us into transhumanarianism. Transhumanism. Oh my god, this is a difficult word in English, but you know what I'm talking about, right? So power struggles are going to escalate very, very quickly during this time. Situations are going to reach a breaking point. We're going to see so much destructive behavior that is going to be driven by obsession, rage, fear, or vengeance. Wanting to take revenge is very common here, but definitely Mars wants action, but Pluto wants total transformation. So all the current conflicts around all the geopolitical intensity and conflict is going to get massively increased here with this aspect, unfortunately. And technology is going to become a source of battleground, and also things flying through our air, because it's in Aquarius. So this is about military mobilization with Mars in Aquarius on top of Pluto and the sun, and also political and ideological warfare intensifying. And be mindful of like the psychological warfare through media or technology that we are about to see, also through frequencies. Like my desk here, I have like shungite, black tourmaline, all of these dark crystals that can really help you protect yourself from unwanted negative energies, entities, all of that. So it will be important to protect ourselves extra during this time. So really, this is like pressure that has been building for months, even years, that is like finally about to detonate. A really big moment of crossing the line, and we're gonna see that playing out on the world stage. And with Neptune just entered the sign of Aries as well, that means that Mars is becoming the dispositor of Neptune and Aries. this is not only dreaming about change, it is really gonna kick off a very big fight. But again, a lot of inspired new leadership is gonna emerge from all the chaos. So yeah, we are actually moving from Neptune in its end degrees of Pisces. We are moving from getting lost in the storm to really steering the ship and taking matters into our own hands. And Mars Pluto, they can destroy, or if you use it consciously, it can really forge a whole new path for you. But with all of the intensity in the coming week, all you can do is choose your battles wisely. Do not stir the pot. Do not make any enemies. Do not go on the attack. This is not like the energy to prove yourself, not the energy to dominate, not the energy to win power games. You're gonna make more enemies, and in the long term, it is not beneficial, and also not beneficial for the collective. So do not feed into the chaos. Do not feed into the conflict. Just be the bigger person. We're all gonna need to be the bigger person, because whenever Saturn moves into Aries on the February the 14th, it is about maturing our inner child. It is about maturing the little baby of the zodiac. It is about really taking more responsibility, and also in healing our wounds within the sign of Aries. So people who are not going to be willing to do that are going to have a difficult time and are going to have a lot of karmic consequences. And this is where I am actually pleased to see Saturn moving into Aries soon as well, because Saturn is going to restrict and refrain the war themes as well. World leaders who are going to be doing war just for the sake of war are going to be punished immensely. Saturn is going to reframe them, and it's going to give them karmic consequences quite fast. Aries is a very fast sign. So with all the war teams, luckily Saturn is going to stabilize in that as well, but it's going to get a little bit more difficult before it gets better. But just like to give you guys a heads up, it's not all doom and gloom, and it's just a team here. So this day, stay grounded, observant, and channel all of the intensity into controlled action, or in the gym, or sweat it off in the sauna. And also remember that not every battle is yours to fight. Do not react, just simply observe, pause before responding, and take a step back from anything that feels manipulative, toxic, or emotionally extreme. You don't need to confront everything you see, and sometimes the most powerful move is actually refusal. Refusal to give your energy to the chaos and to the darkness, because wherever your energy goes, it grows. So do not grow. It's just like, I'm also not saying that you need to ignore it and act like it doesn't exist. Just be mindful of where you are spending your energy during this time. It is actually a week about self-mastery, and that is going to get rewarded. If you are being able to self-master, to master yourself, then this week is going to give you a lot of breakthroughs. If you're going to force your ego, then you're going to have a very difficult time. So let others burn themselves. Oh, and now that I'm mentioning this, if you are someone who needs to work with like machinery or sharp objects, Mars rules over everything: knives, bombs, guns, everything that is sharp. Heat, so yeah, heat is also a very important thing. So be careful about burning, bruising, cutting your fingers. And if you need to work with heavy machinery, you need to be extra careful on the 23rd and the 27th, and the surrounding days as well. So I almost forgot to mention that. So stay conscious, stay sovereign, and if you stay grounded and clear and intentional, then this is not going to break you. It is going to forge a whole new you. You're going to get reborn, and you're going to resurrect from the chaos. So really a moment where pressure becomes transformation, and we need to trust the process and act very consciously. And we need to know and remember that the future is being rewritten right now in real time. So let me guys know how you're feeling with all of this, and I hope I didn't make it too intense, and I also hope it doesn't leave you feeling scared, because that is not my intention here. My intention is to really like make sure that you're able to stand in your power. So of course, if you guys want, you can book a reading with me. I do a 1 hour personal forecast, or I can also dive in your birth charts. You can book that on the Beyond Mystic consultation website, and you can use Beyond Mystic to get 10% off. And also, of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I have some other cool things to share as well, because oh, my yes, it doesn't want to switch. Here we go, the outro. We also have Beyond Karma here today at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And I have another exciting show to announce, because Shannon will be doing her Beyond Healing show here. That is also tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, and JC and Janine will join this cool video as well. So, I want to thank each and every one of you, and just stay clear, grounded, empowered, and do not let the chaos overwhelm you. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all again next week. Thank you so much. Bye bye.